So let's get started, guys. I apologize for that. I just want to make sure all that is good. So we're good to go. Okay, guys, we're good to go. Let's get started here. So I'm in two trades right now. First trade, dollar yen. Talk about this entry. Love the price action. We had this clearly correctional structure that we're in, and we had this inverse head and shoulder. We popped to the upside, and I mentioned look for continuation. So lower time for continuation, we got this pretty clear continuation structure, and then just enter the entry order. Give it pretty good wide stop loss because I like where I'm looking at for a potential target. Even just the top of this correction here, it's almost 5 to 1, and I expect price can continue more to the top. So I'm fine with the stop loss. At the time I was thinking we may see a bigger consolidation, something like this, and I wanted to make sure I hold through that if that was going to happen. But looks like it's continue going up, which is good now. So we'll see how that goes in the upcoming days or week. I will move my stop loss to break even pretty soon. I see this, if this is just going to impulsively push up now, then I'll just set it to break even, and then we'll see what happens. Okay, so let's talk about all the Forex pairs first. So as always, I'll start with currency, and then I'll jump into other markets as well. If you guys have anything you want me to look at, you can type it in here. I'll take a look. All right, so all right, so dollar index here. So dollar index still favor that buy now, right? We finally see price break out of this potential reversal structure. We had this inverse head and shoulder once again. Price had an impulse correction, and we impulse out of this correction, this larger correction. This is all good, and what I'm looking for is that last confirmation, right? Are we going to see continuation? Are we going to see at least a period of consolidation that proves that we're likely to see momentum to continue? So that's what I want to wait for. Most of the dollar pairs are around that range as well. So we'll see how the price will develop. Right now, it's just breaking up, and it's just above this high. But like I always say, this is still not enough for me to justify anything. Preferably see a little bit more development, then that's going to give us strength to push the price back up, and we're likely to get on into a full bullish kind of price action. All right, so that is what I see on dollar, and it's going to be the same as the couple other dollars that we've gone over this week. So let's take a look at them. Still a few ones that are going to be on my favorite. Aussie dollar. So Aussie dollar kind of broke down from the structure. I mentioned this for some time now since when we're at the top, right? And all this kind of price action is just giving us more corrective way to push down. But nevertheless, we break out of this ascending channel. We push down, and looks like there's potential correction. And we had this lower time frame push down. Maybe this is a continuation here. We could likely to see price push down even more, and kind of go from there, because still lots of room to the downside. Some dollar pairs tend to be faster, and some are slower. So it's kind of choosing what you would go for in this case. Morning, guys. Morning, Leslie. So moving on to a couple other dollar pair. Euro dollar certainly is one I'm looking at. Looks like a potential entry is here. Okay. I'm not looking for something like this. I know this could be an entry here actually. So if this is within your risk tolerance, certainly this is a correction here. We're correcting right before we broke out this higher time frame structure. So certainly had some merit to go in this trade. Depends on how you want to manage it. I say if you're looking for a trade, set an entry order would be ideal. Depending on your risk tolerance, I think for this case, for this certain price action, you want the stop loss to cover at least the highs, right? That's something I would normally look for, but I think I would wait off on this one. I would wait for at least a little bit more developed correction, at least more in a continuation kind of formation, rather than something like this can lead into a descending channel and then reverse. So I don't want to. That's always something that's kind of still on my mind. I like this over move, right? We talk about this since the beginning. We've been forecasting or been kind of looking at this move for a long time, at least seeing the price will hit this low. So Whether you enter here or wait for a bigger consolidation, I think it's all fair. Even if it dropped down for a correction, I think it's all fair to still look for this much potential profit. Okay, so this move continuation is likely to continue. We just have to capture it at the right time or a good possible entry like so. Okay, so that is euro dollar. Hello, how's it going, guys? So that's continue. That's kind of what I see. This is definitely my preferred dollar pair. Euro dollar CAD is also looking very good. We talked about dollar CAD this whole week as well. Um, Price finally had this kind of reversal structure for me, right? We finally have a breakout. We finally have a breakout, and then there is a correction kind of in the making, right? So certainly can be the next start to push up further. I think this definitely has some good merit in it. So look for lower time frame correction. It looks like we're forming something here. Nothing is confirmed yet, right? This can go on for a little bit longer. Um, I would preferably wait for a completion of this correction and then continue going up. Uh, dollar Swiss actually is pretty interesting. We see this similar kind of structure, right, on dollar index, right, and we see this on dollar CAD kind of, and that's why I mentioned some dollar pair usually is faster, some dollar pair is slower. Usually I don't want to get involved with dollar Swiss, but I think there is something here that may look for a potential buy. We have this similar structure at inverse head and shoulder, impulse correction, impulse out of this correction here. Look for continuation, right? So prices continue up. So look for something solid to build up here and then look for a potential buy to the next high would be ideal. Then you can certainly get like 3 to 1 this kind of trades and kind of reevaluate to see what price would do. If it breaks above, then let it continue. But if you start seeing reversal to the top here, then potentially exit the trade, right? So talk about dollar yen already, right? Just looking for continuation at this point. I think this is great that from the higher time frame, we're in this larger parallel channel. Very clearly that this is a correctional structure, and this latest bit of the price pretty much give us a very good clue. If you see that this is certainly a correction in the making, and we go on to the lower time frame, clearly an inverse head and shoulder and an impulse correction, and then you see a mini inverse head and shoulder. So structures within structures, patterns within patterns, and this is why multi-time frame analysis is so powerful. In this case, you're adding confluence on top of confluence, and what one straight bullish breakout and followed by lower time frame correction. Just while looking for further upside. Again, looking for first target as just the top of the structure. It's almost 5 to 1. Um, but judging from the higher time frame that we are, right, we can certainly get into the next bullish trend. Certainly holding a trade and then look for scale in entries would be very nice to see if we can just break out of that higher time frame structure, right? But that's going to take weeks or months to complete. So first thing first, just seeing what the lower time frame will do. Can we reach this high first, and then see if there's more bullish price action to continue. So that is dollar yen. So these are pretty much my favorite dollar pair, euro dollar. Euro dollar certainly is going to be the best one among them, right? We've been talking about this sell, even form a correction here, and this is kind of what we've been forecasting is looking for that bearish kind of push out from this correction, right? We have that breakout now, so look for some sort of continuation here to sell. And same thing with dollar cat, right? We're forming correction here, potential buy here, definitely. Dollar Swiss as well. There's other dollar pairs that are not on my watch list. They're just going to be a little bit less price action compared to the other ones. That's why I'm not talking about those, right? These are the ones that I'm picking among the best ones to enter. Okay, so any question, let me know, guys. So Dogcoin, yeah, I'll talk about that after in crypto. That's gonna be later though, okay? I'm gonna finish all the Forex pairs first and then jump into different markets. So let's continue. Same thing when I talk about Aussie Cat. Someone messaged me, you got in on Aussie Cat, so good. Think your entry, uh, you're holding this sell. I think this is the sell that you show me. So yeah, if you enter this sell after this push, good. And but you're likely to be break even at this part. So this part of the price is a little bit swingy, which is usually what I don't like to see after a correctional structure, right? We want to see impulsive phrase, correction phrase, followed by another impulsive phrase. This doesn't really look like a correction impulsive phrase. Rather, it looks like a more of a correctional phrase. So you gotta be careful here now. Even though we've been talking about this, for a potential sell from this double top on a higher time frame, but lower time frame, if it's not giving you that very straightforward kind of impulsive phrase, then you want to be careful, right? You want to kind of reevaluate the price, see what it's likely to do here. This might just start reversing up because this is forming more of a descending correction, more of a reversal in nature. So be careful on this one, okay? So I just want to point out this. Someone did ask me to go more in depth at this, right? So that's kind of what I see. I don't like this kind of price. I want to see a more of a bearish confirmation from the price. So let's talk about Aussie Swiss. Aussie Swiss again is kind of falling into this kind of deeper correction now. Remember, I took a trade from this area here. Just managed to get out about 2% after I see this descending channel. So I just wanted to have a tighter management once I see price isn't moving as impulsively. Same thing with Aussie CAD. I want to see more impulse correction, impulse, and then continue with more correctional phrase. But these correctional times are looking more deeper and longer, which make me also believe that um, the bearish move is not as strong or is not uh, as as fierce as what we usually would see in this case, right? So it may be developing to more deeper correction. So you don't want to get trapped in the correctional phrase. We want to be in the impulsive phrase. So wait for this correction to finish. If it's going to kind of push to the top here for me a mini double top and then still reverse back down, I think that's okay to be looking for something. But overall, higher time frame wise, I still like that we're kind of in this double top range, even though this could lead into a potential bullish flag. This is something that is what the higher time frame is telling us. So do keep an eye on this. Do pay attention to this. When you have different kind of bias on the higher time frame and lower time frame, it's best to wait for a little bit more development. Okay. Aussie yen, do want to go over this again as well because we're potentially forming deeper correction here now on the higher time frame. Kind of it's the same thing as Aussie Swiss, right? What we want to be careful is if this is a strong impulsive phrase and this is just a continuation for this move, this can very well just continue and break up, right? So that's a potential from the price. And seeing this, some of you guys messaged me about the sell on Aussie yen. Certainly on the lower time frame, we could potentially see this as a reversal, right? But the higher time frame still, you gotta keep an eye on it, and that's why multi-time frame analysis is always going to help you to be more clear and more uh, you'll be more patient when it pick for your entries because when you have conflicting bias, something like this, it's just best to stay out, right? You don't need to guess. You don't need to be like, I need to find out where it's going or I need to enter a trade, whether it's a buy or a sell. If it's not clear, if it's not, the better setups that you usually would see or backtest for, then don't enter these trades if it's not good. Right? I stopped enter. This was the last enter I trade when we're seeing the price still pushing down pretty collectively, but we're still seeing the clear impulse correction, right? So this was the sell I took, but after we see just like a longer and deeper corrections, that will put me off on entering more of these until I see more clear momentum in the market. Okay, so that's why Aussie yen. Let's go over CAD yen. So CAD yen also is in this correctional structure. We talk about expanding structure. Still not quite clear what is going on here. You can, like I said, you can view this in both ways. This can be a continuation and we're going off, or this can be a reversal because we're sitting at the higher time frame, kind of top now. So certainly a reversal is also likely to continue the down move. Okay, so it's at an area where it has both merit to go up and down. So again, best not to need to guess, right? Just kind of wait, let the price come to you. I've been talking to some of you guys, and some of you some of you guys give me a feedback about it's hard to control emotion or it's hard to control the urge to enter trades, and really just take a step back, right? If there's no better setups, then you don't need to get involved. You don't need to waste your capital, right? Let the price come to you. Okay. So cat yen, that's what I see. Let's move on to, I don't see any other yen pairs that is really on my watch. They're all kind of still a little bit indecisive, and I'm not really too interested in trading them. Same thing with euro yen. We were looking at euro yen from this potential sell from here, right? When the price had this strong bearish push down, looks like it was a continuation structure and looking like a potential short. And then price just kind of popped to the upside, hitting this previous top, almost a double top again, and then slowly drop down. So this correction, this structure is still valid if you guys look at it this way, that this is still an impulse, this is still a correction. Just because it popped above some trend line doesn't invalidate that this is still a correction for this move, and this continuation can still happen. Okay, so remember that trend line is just there to let you know that there's a potential consolidation or correction in the making, but it doesn't have to be picture perfect. And pound yen, I know some of you guys were talking about pound yen, so I thought I'd go over this. I do still have that expectation of that sell from pound yen, right? We talk about this pretty much every stream, that it's very clear for a potential sell from pound yen after we see that price has already moved. Right, we can certainly expect the same kind of bearish move that can happen in the market, and all these smaller corrections, smaller price action is kind of giving you more of a confirmation hint. What I don't prefer is just kind of this kind of slowly trickle down, right? If we only look at this latest bit of the price, I think I mentioned this in the last stream, was this can be viewed as an impulsive phrase, and this can look like as a continuation now. So this might just continue a little bit longer and then still take off and still making this part of the price very valid. It's just that we're seeing it from the higher time frame, right? We see the higher time frame potential, but is it ready now or is it going to be ready later? It's still too early to decide. So again, I urge to just be a little bit more patient. Don't just try to short this when you see some bearish candle in the making. Some of you guys asked me about that, looking for entry from the top. But if there's no price action that develop, if there's only like a candlestick formation or maybe just a double top, but price action is still screaming bullishly, then there's really no point trying to short this at this time. Okay, that's just kind of how you will better have a better risk management and keep your capital again at bay, and making sure that you have enough capital to trade when the better setup develops. I just recently made a video about risk management, about not blowing an account or how to prevent it. That's really the key, is you're gonna have money to trade, right? So you shouldn't take a lot of mediocre trade or trades that are not confirmed yet, and then you end up wasting capital in that trade. Okay. So Euro Aussie, I was still looking at this. I obviously seeing this correction didn't continue or at least develop into more bullishly, was a little bit still on the sideline, kind of be like, are we going to get a deeper correction, or this is going to, this is going to start dropping down? Okay, so this is kind of the key time now. I think this London session coming up, or the New York session will determine, are we still gonna get the bullish move now? We had this reversal structure, right? We pushed the upside, followed by continuation. This was all looking good when we see this bullish push, but there was no continuation. This looks like it's for the continuation. It's still too. We still could have a chance here to see if price is going to kind of just form a bottom here, completing this kind of a potential continuation, and we're going to resume the bullish trend. It's a little bit hard to tell. We've seen these bearish kind of price action on the lower time frame, right? So we'll see how this develop. Okay, I don't see a buy at this point. Okay, because this move still moved down pretty sharp. Certainly waiting for something of this correction to finish and then look for a potential buy afterwards will be okay. In my opinion, if this is going to be that reversal that we kind of be looking for, then certainly more upside is very likely. So you don't have to worry to miss some profits here if that's going to continue to see take off. It's just this last bit of the price here, whether it's corrective to go down more or it's going to be going up after these stronger impulses to the upside. It's just we have to wait at this point, okay? So last one I will go over is Kiwi Cat. I think some of you guys are looking at Kiwi Cat. I'll point out kind of what interests me at the moment. If we kind of just zoom out here, I'll go down to the higher time frame. It looks like what we're forming here is we still have this kind of a rising, kind of a wedge pattern, but this latest bit of the price, what does it look like, guys? It's looking very like a head and shoulder pattern, right? At the top of the overall structure, top of the overall price, we could potentially expect that bearish reversal, and this is just a clear higher time frame, large head and shoulder pattern that we can potentially see this bearish push out. Is it ready yet? Well, if we look at here on the lower time frame, this is that head and shoulder we talk about, and this is potentially a right shoulder in the developing, and this is ascending channel, right? So we see price had a few chance to push down. I was involved into this trade. Remember, we took this trade, and I took a trade here. I took a loss here, but would have actually hit potential profit here. But that's how trading is. Well, sometimes the trade form a deeper correction and then still continue afterwards. Anyways, we're seeing this right shoulder to developing here. This can be that ascending channel. Uh, I don't think it's ready yet. I still see this correction can go on for a little bit. So no need to try to guess when this correction will be over, right? We can just wait for this correction to break out and then always going to form lower time frame continuation. This is how I got into this trade. This is also how we got in on this trade as well. So always going to wait for continuation. I think that's just the safest bet, the better entry or the safest entry to go down at least to the low. But if this is going to be the head and shoulder we see on the higher time frame, breaking this low is very ideal and to continue downwards. All right, so that's what I want to say on Kiwi Cat. I don't think it's yet ready, but it could be ready next few days or next week. But I think it's looking very decent. From a higher time frame perspective, what we see here, larger head and shoulder, and then just how the structure has been, how the price has moved. We pretty much bounced off this level here twice already, so it's looking very corrective, right? And this last bit of the price can give us that confirmation here, okay? So any question, guys? Any question on these currency pairs before I jump into some other market? Am I like Wave Trader? I know who he is, but no, I don't do the same. Do I do analysis on indices as well? Yeah, I do that. I do the same analysis on crypto, indices, commodities. It's the same, the way how we analyze the market or the way how we see the market, it's the same. There's no difference in that. Okay, so speaking of those, so why don't we go into commodities now? If no question here on any of the currency pairs. I do want to point out a few things. I do want to look at platinum. I think some of you guys were asking me about platinum. So I want to take a look from a higher time frame perspective. So if we just zoom out here, this is higher time frame. We pretty much reached this low, this bottom here, right? This is the 2008 crash. We have this sharp move to the downside. This is during COVID time, right? So we have this COVID drop, and then pretty much a double bottom in my eye. It doesn't matter because it broke it. What matters is how the price had a reversal impulse up and then continuation correction to push the price. So this clearly to me is a reversal impulse, right? You have a bearish impulse down, there's no continuation. Instead, you have a reversal impulse up and then reversal continuation, and then we push the price up more. This looks like just a larger correction in the making. Certainly just going to break above that, right? So we break above this pretty much this structure here, we continue to push up. Pretty much this is the last high that we should be looking out for, because if we are able to break this high here and for more continuation, definitely see this period consolidation is over. We're likely to resume the bullish trend. We see how price just couldn't go lower than this price, because there's a lot of fundamental, I guess, behind this. Is you really have to factor in like costs and everything like that. Price is not going lower, so we could just see that this period consolidation, once it's complete, the next bullish run will happen on the higher time frame. Okay, so wait for price to at least continue above the previous high before looking for a continuation here. Okay, so this is more still developing, but I do want to point out this is obviously for long term. This is pretty great for continuation. So let's talk about gold really quick, because some of you guys were asking me about what I think about gold. So for gold, certainly short-term wise, I still see this as very bearish, right? Definitely see this as a bearish continuation for this move. So expect that to happen, the next few days, in my opinion, if this is going to be a correction, continuation correction for this move. So this is just a clear impulse correction, and we're getting another impulse down to the lows, and then looking to see how this price will form. Because on the higher time frame, I still see this, as I mentioned every time, is I still see this as a bullish continuation. We see all this move up, followed by just a quick continuation. Larger and deeper this goes, the better probability that this will resume. So I definitely do want to see this lower time frame move to the downside, and then kind of look for a reversal from the bottom if it forms, right? But short term wise, definitely see this as a sell. But personally, I'm not going to be interested in the sell. I will be looking for a reversal buy from the bottom here. Yeah, I went over some of those dollar pairs, but I can go over again. So Aussie dollar, went over this quickly, was just looking for a little bit more confirmation. We talked about this already since this last week. We broke out of this ascending channel. There was a correction here, and this last bit of the price here, I just want to see what will happen in this area. Is it going to form a continuation here to continue? Still lots of room to the downside, but definitely more bearish in my opinion after we completely break out of this ascending channel, right? This is still an impulsive phrase followed by some sort of continuation. Whether it's going to form continuation here or some sort of deeper correction, I still expect this move to go down. Pound dollar, I'm not too interesting. I mentioned this a few times. I don't like this period consolidation. I don't like the swinging price. I mentioned that it's very clear that we're in a consolidation period, and as price still corrects, I don't want to be stuck in a consolidation phase. I'd rather wait for price to break out and followed by continuation. I will get it on this sell. But until then, until this breaks out and then form a correction, I'm not interested in pound dollar. I think there's better dollar pairs to get involved. There's clear price action in other ones like euro dollar. It's very clear, right? This is the ascending channel, impulse correction, impulse, right? This is clear price action. Whereas pound dollars is indecisive. It's not moving up and down too much, and that's how I filter pound dollar out of my watch list. So going back to commodities, went over gold, right? So let's talk about silver for a bit. So silver, I was still looking silver for a potential buy. I like that for a long-term perspective. And it's the same kind of approach like gold, right? We talk about gold as higher time frame that we're looking. Silver to me is the same. Silver to me is the same from a price action point of view. This period is just a consolidation period. All this price is just building up price to continue move upwards. I mentioned in my post, if it didn't happen COVID, then this move is just very likely to continue, which it still did, right? You can see price did move down to this low, so pretty much forming a double bottom or triple bottom, and a strong bullish push to the upside. So whether or not price continue, it's just all about if we get a higher time frame continuation, and then we're going to see the next takeoff because we haven't seen this surge of the price from silver ever for all this price, right? This is just a large bit of the scoop kind of formation. We haven't seen that kind of sharp move from the price for a really long time. The sharpest move we get is probably somewhere here in 2013, and the surge from this after the 2008 market crash, right? After the 2008 market crash, it was trading about $9 or so. So you got to think about all the costs associated with silver. It just doesn't make sense to drop lower. There's no point. That's why price bounced up, correction, and had a massive surge. It took a long time for it to just eventually drop down, but we're still moving very correctively in terms of price. You can see a lot of still impulsive phrase, impulsive phrase, correction phrase. This is a strong impulsive phrase. So really just looking for a continuation phrase to complete and looking for the next upside. So it was trying to break above, I think beginning of this week. You can potentially draw the structure like this earlier. We had this surge to the upside, and as I always say, just because it breaks up trend line, if there's no continuation, don't jump in to buy. That's pretty much what happened in this case. It had a it had a sharp move to the upside, but it had a sharp move to the downside. Right, it looks like if it's going to form a continuation here, that's likely to still go down after. So don't jump into these, right? We know in time from the higher time frame perspective, there's a good chance that this can get higher. But is it ready now today or tomorrow? I don't think so. Not right after I see this kind of impulse and a reversal impulse potentially following by continuation dropping down. But I would be interested if this move pushes down and then still find reversal on the bottom, then all we know that structure is evolving. We know that this becomes like a parallel channel. We find bottom of this structure and potentially looking for a reversal. Okay, so that's kind of what I see on silver now. Not looking to buy or sell at this point, possibly. I just want to see price will drop down. That would be nice. And then look for a reversal for the buy here. Where are the entries? They're not entries yet, my friend, and I'm not giving signals. Okay, this is all forecasting, right? So if you have strategy to trade, you trade your strategy, of course, right? I'm giving an outline, an outlook of all the markets. Someone asked about oil, right, Brent? So I'll go over US oil, same idea, right? Um, what I see on oil is, I think some of you guys asked me about the buy here. Remember, I said, yeah, it's certainly a correction buy, but personally, I won't be involved because we're reaching this previous high, and I didn't think this is all the correction it need to continue. But nevertheless, if this is going to be that bullish move that continue, and we're just breaking above this previous high, then certainly there be more potential to continue, right? So keep an eye on this one if that's what you're looking for. If you're looking for a bullish buy, we have been moving up pretty much though, and that's why I didn't think this is all the correction we need. After you see this move up, this was a correction to correct all this kind of move, and then we move up once again, and we're going to just get this little bit of a correction. I was doubting that, right? So I was looking for more bigger correction to go for a buy here. Okay, so no trade. I don't think not much trade here now. It's just if you were looking for a trade, it's obviously here. But if you didn't get in, then I don't think there's point to enter now. You probably wait for a bigger correction here. Okay, so that is U.S. oil. Any question on these commodities? Any other commodities you guys want me to look at? I think these are the ones that I will be keeping an eye on. Looking to get out. Well, yeah, if you get enough profit, if it fits your plan, then certainly do so, right? I'm just saying that I didn't think this is going to continue. I thought there was going to be more correction here. Aussie Swiss. Yeah, I went over Aussie Swiss a bit earlier. Went over Aussie Swiss a bit. I was saying that this correction is looking deeper and longer, so just make sure that you wait for a correction finish before you get involved in this, okay? Because this can just trickles up more and more and more. Remember, as I said, I don't want to get involved when the price is in the corrective phrase. You want to be involved when it's in the impulsive phrase, right? So that's Aussie Swiss. Dollar yen I went over, right? Dollar yen to trade I went over. I'm still in dollar yen. Looking clear just for continuation. I want to be in the impulsive phrase, like I said. We've had an inverse head. We have an inverse head and shoulder break out of this larger structure. So just waited for a lower time frame correction to buy. And certainly, if this moves up more, there's going to be more correction to look for possible entries, right? So that is dollar yen. So let's move on. If no question here, guys, I'll move on to crypto. So, what I say on Bitcoin, certainly more upside, right? We've been talking about this even since from the bottom. Mentioned about don't jump in the buy until we see a correction. Push to the upside, got in on this correction, and my approach, my plan. Remember, trading is all about planning. My plan was always to hold a longer period of Bitcoin hold after we broke all-time high. That's always my key point. So I know that price is likely to form larger correction, and I'm fine holding through a larger correction as well. So pretty much this looks like it can be a completion of this larger continuation flag. Uh, Certainly more opportunity if we just kind of break out and then continuation on the lower time frame. I might even look for a scaling entry after securing more profit. Definitely looking more upside, right? There's no bearish move in my opinion after you see the surge of bullish trend. This is clearly a bullish impulse, right? And usually after a strong bullish impulse, we're going to see continuation structure, continuation correction, and this is kind of what we get. Rare case, this may move down once more to the bottom. I don't see that happening. But if it does move it all the way down to the bottom, just means that it completes a larger structure here. And then you can look for a buy from the bottom. It's cheaper to buy, right? But either way, still upside in my opinion. I see this kind of scoop a lot all the time. When you have this impulse, reversal impulse, even trying to form a continuation, go down, except it forms an inverse head and shoulder, and we just push up. So wait for price to break this previous high and form continuation. Certainly is going to be the next buy. Definitely have a lot more momentum now after seeing this latest bit of the price. Right? This price is just the way how the market traps a lot of traders, right? A lot of buy and sell are happening here. A lot of buy and sell are taken by the market. So um, when you see market structure, when you see continuation correction like these over and over again, when you backtest, it's going to help you to recognize these patterns a lot. Okay, and that's kind of how you stay consistent when you see them, right? You don't deviate from your plan. There's sometimes the price drop to the lows, but to me, it's just about long-term perspective and what I know about price and knowing that a continuation correction is very likely to happen. And if you have patience, you have a management plan, then hold it through the next push up. So that's kind of what I see on Bitcoin. Certainly, potentially finishing this and look for further upside. Cardano, I think a lot of us are looking at Cardano, myself included. I think Cardano is looking clean when we have this continuation correction and we push up, right? There's more correction here, but eventually we push above that previous high. So looking for a continuation here would be nice to get in. I think this is going to be the safest entry. We broke this previous high. As we know how price has been moving, every time we see this kind of scoop kind of price action, we know that it's very likely to resume higher and break the previous high. So we broke previous high, so wait for continuation would be very ideal. Definitely see this continue upwards. Most of the crypto are in this stage right now. Some are faster, some are slower. If you look at Bitcoin as an example, we know that that is how it works, right? When there's going to be always a huge first initial surge, and a huge decline, a period of long consolidation, and then eventually resume its bullish move. Once it breaks the all-time high, just like Ethereum, which I'll go over after, when you break all-time high, when you form continuation, it's very likely to resume the bullish trend. Okay, so that is what I see on Bitcoin. And so Cardano, same idea, right? This is already clean that we're pushing up now, pushing above previous high. So let's wait for continuation. Will be very nice to get in on the trade. So Ethereum, let's talk about Ethereum because Ethereum to me is definitely something that everyone should be looking out for. It's exactly what we've been talking about, right? Price break previous high or all-time high, sorry. If it form continuation, it's a clear buy. That's just how price works. This kind of formation, this kind of price, you see it over and over again in any markets, right? Doesn't matter what market you're looking at. It's crypto are slower than other markets, but this type of things happen all the time in different markets. You just have to do enough back testing, enough chart work to identify them, knowing that that's going to be the next buy. So is it ready to buy? Certainly not, in my opinion. You want to wait for a clear continuation, right? It's the same as Bitcoin. Bitcoin break all-time high, form a correction, and then it takes off, right? So same idea here. Okay. All-time high, we broke up very impulsively, which is great. Uh, the last confirmation is going to be that continuation correction here. Okay, just something like this, a pennant or a flag or channel, whatever it's going to form. Right? Obviously, we won't know what's going to do, but wait for those continuation correction is going to be the key here. Okay, the best part about the price, I do want to go in a little bit, that is you can see that when price make this ascending channel hitting all-time high, we had this bearish sharp impulse. Looks like it's going to continue lower, right? This is usually what ascending channels do. But instead, the momentum kind of just stopped in the middle. So a bearish impulse followed by a reversal bullish impulse, usually signifying that the previous strength is exhausted. We follow by a bullish impulse by a kind of a pennant structure, a continuation correction, and we just kind of impulsively break up now. So love these kind of price action, right? If you do a lot of back testing, when you see a lot of move like this, it's clear that we're going to be in the bullish trend now, right? So wait for that last bit of confirmation, look for buy. It's pretty clear to me. I just went over, buddy, waiting for a correction, right? You don't just buy here. I would wait for a continuation correction here. For the buy, it's going to be the safest, best potential, right? You always want to have a trading plan, a management plan. You don't blindly to jump in. Make sure you follow your plan correctly to look for a buy. So Link, talk about Link as well. This is pretty clear buy as well, right? We broke this previous all-time high price, had a push up. Again, this scoop surge formation, impulse correction, impulse, and then we're pushing up now, right? This is a key point. I mentioned this. Wait for price to break all-time high, which it did, and then wait for some sort of solid continuation. So most of them are all looking very clean for continuation. Okay, so it's this strong bullish push to the upside is that first sign from this continuation correction. So let's look for something here, right? Let's look for something here. You may already got in this, you may not. I think waiting for bigger ones, okay, even if this is going to take off, wait for more continuation, right? This is clearly going to be on the next bullish trend now. So it already broke its all-time high. We pushed off on the scoop. Definitely more upside is potential. So Litecoin, exactly the same thing, right? It's even better, in my opinion. If we just look at where the price has been, this is a higher time frame, and price is pretty much reacting to this previous high. But nevertheless, you can call this as a scoop, this as a scoop. Doesn't really matter because it's the same price action over and over again. We broke this previous high. We're forming potential continuation on the lower time frame. We see that from this point pushing up, price has already formed mini correction to push up. So this is just one large bullish impulse for the price. This is just a larger continuation on the lower time frame here. We had a push to the upside. Look for lower time frame continuation. It's very clean, very clear. Look for at least to the high here, and further upside is expected. Yeah. Any question, guys? Let me know. I'm just gonna continue onwards. So let's move on. A few other crypto ones. Few other crypto ones are looking still very clean. Neo USD. If we look at from higher time frame perspective, again, you have that scoop formation, right? And then we have this strong impulse followed by a continuation. Looks like we're breaking up off this previous high. So very similar like most of the crypto, it's all looking very clean, right? We just need to wait for a longer period consolidation and then waiting for the upside move. It's all relatively the same. It's again choosing among the best ones, right? You don't necessarily have to get in on all of them, right? But getting on some of them that one's going to show you the best price action. It's going to be the best. Will your stream be available to rewatch after you finish? Yeah, it's always going to be trading view. You can go on my profile. It's under the stream tab. It's all here. All my streams here. Okay, so or you can go on my YouTube, which is under my playlist. I do all videos on here. All my price action, risk management, trading plan, all my outlooks, daily outlook or weekly outlook. It's all here. It's all here that I upload here. Okay. So OMG USD, I like that we're forming this kind of a descending channel. Still very likely to be a continuation for this bullish surge. Look like we could potentially finish a correction here. There's two options here in my opinion. Either a push up followed by continuation or another push down correctively to complete this higher time frame structure from the bottom and then potentially reverse back up afterwards. I think that's two possibility to be looking for a buy. But clearly, in my opinion, is looking pretty bullishly for the upside. Again, scoop formation, lots of room to the upside, certainly upside potential. Price has been much higher, right? So likely we can see a resume of the price. Okay, so newsletter subscription. I have Telegram. If you're interested, you can join my Telegram. It's under here. You can search for Ares Trading. This is my Telegram where I post uh, all the streams link, all my videos, educational video, lessons, analysis, things like that. It's all in my Telegram, so you're welcome to join that. Okay, so last one, Stellar. I still very like Stellar. I think Stellar is great for continuation as well. Again, previous high prices approaching, big large scoop that we see. Price has been much higher. Certainly see a potential surge potential, right? We go down to the lower time frame here. Um, Remember I got in some of these trade, but I didn't sell at the highest. I was holding it more as a long-term approach. We had an impulse correction. We've had a larger impulse push up, and it looks like we're forming a correction here. We push up here, but this latest bit of the price is a little bit corrective to say the least, but it looks like we can just form a larger continuation. It's just whether or not this is going to be the one that's going to continue upwards. The higher time frame one still looks very promising. I still see continuation onwards from this point forward. That's why I'll be keeping an eye on this one as well. Among the other crypto, but I do see few are the best, right? Bitcoin is one, Cardano, Ethereum certainly is going to be my favorite. I think there's Ethereum is a no question one, as long as we see some sort of continuation here. And Litecoin is pretty good as well. So all the good ones I'm pointing out, I didn't go through all of them, but pointing out the best ones that are give you going to be the best trades. Dogcoin, yeah, I'm not. There's why I think there's why I don't like it. Yeah. Um, yeah, I mean, there's a surge in Dogcoin, of course, right? We had this, can't really see probably, but we have this strong push to upside correction. We had a huge push up, right? A huge surge. Is this going to form continuation? I wouldn't jump in. I'm sure a lot of people jump in, but all I'm saying is I don't see anything yet here. I don't see a correction yet. I'd rather see continuation, right? This is always what we talk about in price action. Uh, is that this push down is pretty expected, right? After a huge surge. But are we getting continuation? Is there a continuation here? This looks like it, but is this all it's going to correct on this move? Right? You got to think about this previous bullish trend to the upside. So I probably rather wait for something deeper here to continue. It's like seeing Stellar, right? XLM. You see this surge to the upside. There's just a natural bigger correction to be in the making to correct this move, and then more move to the upside essentially. So kind of the same thing here is this is a big surge to the upside. I kind of wait for I want to see deeper correction before we go up. All right, so that's Dogcoin or Dogecoin. uh, Anything else, guys? Anything else you want me to take a look? Happy to go over any pairs you guys want me to look at. Yeah, if you guys like these kind of analysis, feel free to join my Telegram, YouTube, and things like that, right? This is where I do all my posts, okay? So someone just asked me that. So Telegram, Eris Trading, YouTube, go to Eris Trading. This is where I do all my videos, all my analysis, all the lessons, really. I do all my lessons here on my YouTube. So make sure you watch all that. It's going to teach you everything about I know in price action. This is why I break down all the videos. So watch those if you're interested. Or on my trading view, this is where I do all my posts. All my ideas are here. So welcome to take a look at those. All right. So can I post links? Can you post links? You can post whatever you want, I think. Or you want me to post some links? Did I go over indices? I didn't go over indices, right? Or I go over equities as well. Let's go over some since everyone's on here. We can go over a few things. I am looking at Tesla actually. So Tesla has been obviously pushing up very aggressively. Right? There's a few buy setups. I only got into this one, didn't get into this, but looks like we're just going to be forming a larger continuation, which is very, very good. We've seen price has been moving up very impulsively, right? Every time followed by impulsive phrase, corrective phrase, impulsive phrase, corrective phrase, impulsive phrase, corrective phrase, and an impulsive phrase, and looking for a corrective phrase and continue the price. It's that simple, no biggie. Don't overthink about it. I think the moving the bullish trend, sorry, is very likely. It looks very clear. So wait for this correction to finish. Wait for further upside. I think it's really clear. to buy Tesla. Certainly see break 1,000 is very soon. My links, you just scroll down to my, you just go to my profile. You'll see all my profile, all my links are here. So go on my profile, you'll see all my links. So let's look at some indices. Let's look at some indices. I do want to take a look at them because we've been talking about them for a while, and what you what you want to look out for is kind of the price action itself. Is it going to give you that bearish price action yet, or is it still correcting? So we had all this push to the downside. It just didn't break all of this correction, right? We had some broke out. We had some trend broke down some trend line from the past, but doesn't mean anything, right? Remember I talk about breaking trend lines doesn't mean much. You need to wait for a continuation to continue. If that doesn't happen, you understand the nature of the price. You understand that we likely to just see a longer period consolidation now. This is still a correction nevertheless, but it's likely to continue longer before the downside. So don't rush into jumping into these. Okay, I don't see it's ready yet, especially it just made that kind of bullish push to the upside look like it's going to form continuation, go higher. Right, so don't need to jump into these. Okay, and that's why all the other ones, same idea, right? It's going to look very similar. It trying to break out, but there's no continuation, and instead it just had a reversal push up. And this is just a prime example. We don't have fear of missing out, right? When you have fear of missing out, you're going to jump into any single of these trades thinking that if I don't jump in on this, this is going to take out without me. But this is what happens when the market just punishes the traders like that. So stay consistent in the market, stay with clear risk management is going to help you to be more consistent. Okay, so I'm bringing all these examples because some of you guys have messaged me about them. Why didn't the price drop? Why didn't the price start dropping based on price? Well, that's gonna what happened, guys. You can't expect price to work in your favor all the time. No strategy, no setup is going to work 100% of the time without confirmation or without probability, right? That's all trading is. So you understand that. So when you look for a setup, make sure you have, you're forecasting the setup, you know that what you're looking for. Are you looking for further development before you look for a trade? That's going to help you to save on mediocre trades, mediocre losses, and you have capital to trade when you have better setup that forms. Okay, so I just want to bring all these indices because they obviously don't look ready to me. I don't see the sell either, but we're still in this correction, so anything can happen, right? Don't forget that we're still in a correction phase, regardless of this bullish surge. But you want to be a little bit more observant, right? Be on the sideline. We don't need to trade if there's no entries. Okay. And this is last example, prime example, Aussie 200. I've been talking about this for a month, right? Looking for a potential sell. And again, price break out of this ascending channel and no confirmation, right? No confirmation to sell. Instead, we had this bullish surge to the upside. That's exactly why we don't jump the gun, right? This is prime example. So all I'm seeing this now is just the structure is evolving, is looking bigger. And if this is a bullish push to the upside and then forming a reason double top, can this still drop? Yeah, yes, we can because we're still in a correctional phase, right? Nothing changes if you just look at it. Eliminate all the noise. Is that this is still a correction. Nevertheless, we're not going anywhere. We're still within or contained in this price action. And if the price does indeed reverse, then the correction still is valid. Okay, so that is what I see on these indices. Okay, any question on them, guys? Any question on any other pair, guys? I'm happy to go over them as well. Dollar index, good. Euro dollar is probably doing well. Yeah. So I talk about euro dollar. I mentioned that this is a potential sell, but I'm not interested in. I probably want to see just a little bit more development, more something in this in nature. I'd rather see that consolidate in London session and then New York session. We still see the drop because this looks to me still a little bit descending in nature, right? Certainly still a correction, and I mentioned that with this strong surge of this sell impulsive phrase, this can just be a continuation. We start going, but based on experience, this can just lead into a descending channel sometimes, and then reverse the price, and you got tag out for a loss. So if I wait for a bigger structure here, I would be more inclined to enter this sell. I think that would be a perfect opportunity, even just to the lows here, lots of risk reward. Okay, so I'm waiting for this to develop. I'm waiting for some good setups to develop here, and then look for continuation. Right, larger structure, we're potentially breaking out of this larger structure now, and clearly the impulsive phrasing continue is looking very clean. Okay, does it matter which time frame you look at when you figure it out? Well, I focus on multi-time frame analysis, so I always have a top-down approach. My higher time frame analysis, I have a bias. I go down to the lower time frame, look for confirmation, look for possible entry, and etc. Right? Because when you enter on the lower time frame, you have better risk reward instead of enter on the higher time frame. But the move is the same, right? Because higher time frame and lower time frame, they're the same. It's just different candles, different time frame. Right? What you see on the higher time frame can just be one impulse, but on the lower time frame, you'll see impulse correction, and so on. Right? So it's understand the multi-time frame analysis. Yeah, any other question, guys? Happy to answer some questions now. I went through all the markets, but if you have any pairs or any questions, I'm happy to answer some before that. Can I go over dollar yen again? Yeah, I can go over dollar yen. So dollar yen from higher time frame perspective, so multi-time frame analysis, I'll go from the higher time frame to explain all this. So higher time frame analysis, clearly we're in a consolidation, right? This is clearly a consolidation, but this looks like we can eventually complete, right? We see the strong bullish surge to the upside. This is just a longer period consolidation and looking for this correction to finish. So we're going to go into the next bullish trend. Uh, but looking at what we have in the price, right? You have to look closely. This is higher time frame, so this takes months or years to complete. But looking at this last piece of the price, this looks very, very corrective, right? So it looks like a smaller channel within this larger channel. So again, correction within correction, structure within structure. So I already have a strong bullish bias when I see this on the higher time frame. So I'll go down to the lower time frame and look for possible entries and confirmation. So on the lower time frame here, this is that small descending channel we talk about. It's already very corrective, so that's giving you a sign that this can be a reversal price action structure. Latest bit of the price, we're seeing similar structure to see, right? Inverse head and shoulder. I talk about this a lot. When you see a impulse correction impulse, usually you're going to see continuation, but instead you have a reversal impulse followed by a continuation correction, and we have the surge to the upside. Within this right shoulder continuation, again, multi-time frame analysis, lower time frame inverse head and shoulder, within this larger right shoulder, continuation correction like a flag, and then price impulsively break above this kind of descending channel structure and wait for lower time frame continuation. That is how I get in the trade. Looking for price to at least hit this high here for about 4.9, so 5 to 1 or so. But ultimately is seeing the price can continue to the top of this higher time frame structure and potentially break out, right? But that's going to take months, weeks, or months to complete. So first thing first is just to see what price will do when we hit this top here. Those are all my YouTube channel, buddy Morpheus. How to study the charts, all that. Go on my YouTube, go on my playlist. I have many video on all this. Intro to trading, how to do graphs, to setting up trading view, things like that. Uh, Price action, right? Talk about this. It's all about looking at different structure. Every single structure I look at, it's all here. And risk management, how to enter, how to scale, all that is here. Okay, so I you just take a look through at them. It'll explain everything that I'm talking about. Okay. So anything else, guys? Anything else for me in terms of questions? Um, do you see some good potential on the crypto? Right, I went over the crypto. I went over there's some decent opportunities on them, especially Bitcoin. Ethereum is looking very clean. I think Litecoin is good and Stellar is good as well. Okay, so these are very good. And then commodities, like I said, gold potentially is a sell here, but I'm not too interested in this. I'm rather looking for the potential buy on the higher time frame. And one of the currency, I mean dollar yen, and then a couple other dollar pairs. Like I said, euro dollar is looking really good. Um, and dollar CAD, dollar Swiss, they're all pretty good. And then a couple other pairs, I'm looking at Kiwi CAD as well for a potential reversal. Okay. Take a look at Dodge. Yeah, I went over Dodge. I mentioned about it compared to other crypto pairs I just went over. I don't think this is a continuation yet. I'd rather see a little bit further development because this is still a strong bullish surge. I'd rather wait for larger period consolidation. This doesn't look like it's enough correction, or it doesn't even look like a correction to me unless this is the correction it's trying to make. But I'd rather see a bigger period consolidation that's going to help us understand that this bullish move is likely to resume after a period consolidation, period correction. Okay, so that's what I see on this one. Trading signal. I don't give signal unfortunately, so I'll give outlooks. I'll give my forecasting on the pairs, but I don't give signals. Apple and GME. I can look at Apple. Yeah. So what I see here, this is kind of still what I see is still potentially in this kind of bearish kind of structure. Why I still have a bearish bias on this is that this to me is a top. Sorry, this to me is a top, and then kind of it pushes down and then followed by a deeper correction. I think this is kind of what I'm seeing here. This is still pretty corrective. It doesn't look like it's a bullish move, and that's why I'm still with this kind of structure or this kind of price action. I usually more leaning towards a bearish kind of move. If we zoom on the higher time frame, you see how this move is pretty ascending in nature. It doesn't look like it's a continuation bullish move. It looks like it's more forming a reversal. So that's kind of what I see. Look, it can still be a bearish move to the downside. Okay, so uh GameStop. Yeah, let's talk about GameStop. So what I see about GameStop, aside from all the new stuff, this is kind of what I see. Sometimes this a lot of things is not technical anymore, in my opinion, after seeing all that, of course. This is still my approach on GameStop, I guess. You see, all this is just consolidation period. This is a huge gap, right? This is a huge gap. So price opened the day before like 220, it dropped down to, a lot less, right? So I think this is still a period consolidation. This is still a surge. This is still a larger correction. I still have a reason to believe this can continue, but is it going to continue tomorrow, next week? This can go on to a long period hold, right? This can just go on for indefinitely, right? So I can't speculate on this is going to be a short squeeze coming tomorrow. I can't speculate any of that, right? All I can say is um, this bit of the gap is pretty much similar like this bit of a gap too, right? So we can easily recover that in time, but is it going to happen right away? Who knows, right? I can't be able to speculate that, right? But I think it's very good to see that price is not going anymore lower. If it maintain like this in this area, I think that's great to hold, right? To hold. That's kind of what I mean. So all right, so that is what I see on GameStop. Okay, so I'll go over AMC as well. I think that's probably on what people's mind. I made a post about AMC. I still have reasonably believe that AMC can go up. It doesn't matter about all this stuff happening, but just purely from a price action point of view, right? We had this kind of a all-time double top M style pattern kind of thing. Double top, price pretty much formed this ascending channel, strong push down, correction, strong push down followed by a larger correction, supposedly going down more, but instead it falls into a kind of a wedge, right? Descending channel, whatever you want to call it. But this is very corrective rather than impulsive that we have been seeing in the market. So when you have this descending structure, falling wedge, and then you have a surge to the upside, doesn't matter, it didn't, continue, but this is still a surge to the upside, right? And what you want to see it is how it is that can this be that strong bullish push, and then likely you're just going to see a longer period of consolidation, maybe something like this, and price still eventually go up, right? That's going to take months or a year maybe to complete, right? But this is still a good reversal for the price, right? This is pretty clearly a reversal after all this bearish kind of move. We still see a reversal. So if we get enough momentum, if we get enough kind of consolidation here, I still do see this can continue onwards. All right, so that's what I see on AMC. Okay, any question on these guys? Any question before I wrap up all this? I've been talking about almost an hour, 20 minutes. So very nice to see some newcomers here. So feel free to interact with me on Telegram and other channels, other platforms. Yeah, Bitcoin is surging. It's not surging, I guess it's moving up. I don't think it's surging. But that's kind of what we've been expecting, right? This is kind of exactly what we're expecting of Bitcoin. And this is important about having a plan in place, what you want to do before you enter, right? Some of you guys mentioned about how come you didn't, or how come, people, they don't end up holding it or whatever. I mentioned my plan from the beginning was always to hold a larger investment on these crypto anyways. I'm not day trading them, I'm investing in them. I'm happy to hold. I'm happy to hold through a bigger pullback, understanding what the current market condition is, right? We have a bullish impulsive phrase. This is all impulsive. We have a larger correctional phrase, which is a correctional phrase that that's going to be correcting for all this bullish move, and it's very likely for price to continue. And that's kind of what we're seeing right now. Okay, so breaking above this high here is great. Wait for continuation is best. Any other question, guys, before I wrap up the stream? Any other question? Happy to answer any other question. Like I said, I do these streams 3 times a week. Um, I do these streams 3 times a week, so feel free to catch me on one of these streams. I do them at least one in 3 sessions. So I'll do them in London session, which is tonight. I'll do one in a New York session and one in the Asia session. So I try to do one in each session, right? But I do try to be pretty stable on the days. But starting next week, I'll do the same. But I will post them. I always post them in my Telegram, so you're always gonna get the links. You can always rewatch them afterwards as well. So, all right, everyone. So looks like no other questions here. I'll be wrapping up the stream here. Hope everyone had a wonderful week or remaining of the week, and be safe out there. And I will see you guys next time. I will do a weekly trade recap video on the weekend, and I will see you guys on a weekly trading outlook stream on Monday morning. All right, guys. So thank you very much, and have a good day, good night, or wherever you are. Be safe out there, and see you guys next time. Thank you very much.